Well, by golly, by gum, we made it to another week. It is Monday, the 17th day of June, 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting in your day and your week with us here on the NCW Life channel. Hope you had a good weekend. We had a busy weekend around here at the old broadcast Metroplex. Of course, we had the Wenatchee Valley College commencement exercises. We televised them live on Friday night at Lee Boffield to the Apple Bowl. Then on Saturday night, our very first Apple Sox game of the year, broadcast live right here on this very television station. So a bit of a short weekend for a great deal of us around here, but we're back at it here on this Monday. Hope you had a good Father's Day as well. It was a beautiful weekend. In fact, right off the top, we set a record temperature on Friday. It was a record warm low, if that makes any sense to you. It was set on Friday morning. It got down to 61 degrees, which is very mild, and that tied the old record set back in 2009. So again, a record warm low was set on Friday. I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? Good show for you today. We got the usual shenanigans going on. We got news. We got sports. Great comeback victory for the Apple Sox last night against the Walla Walla Sweets, and also the Mariners got the better of Oakland yesterday as well. We'll talk about that when we get to sports. We, of course, have the obscure holiday of the day. We got birthdays coming your way. Today in history, a brand new Everyone is Entitled to Mike McNally's Opinion. And in the back half of the program, I interview with Rob Neyer. Rob is the commissioner of the West Coast League. We went and visited Rob when he was in town last week. As the commissioner, he goes to all of the different franchises in the West Coast League, makes at least one trip every year. And last week, he came to visit the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and he's also a very well-renowned national baseball writer. He wrote for ESPN for many, many years. He's now an independent writer, and he's a great baseball mind, and he's a baseball geek, and I am as well. We had a great conversation. It was a real thrill for me to talk to Rob. That'll be coming off in the back half of this show. Beautiful weekend, beautiful day today, but a big change is coming in the weather. We're not going to get any significant rain, but boy, we're going to cool down, and we're going to have some wind. That all-important details coming up the last week of spring. Of course, the summer solstice is on Friday morning. And on Friday morning, whenever we have a solstice or an equinox, we get 4 of them a year. Bonnie Orr, Master Gardener Bonnie Orr, drops by and talks gardening with me, and she'll be on the show live on Friday morning. Looking forward to that. 2 minutes after the hour, let's go around the valley with our Valley View cameras. Megan, of course, is in the control room. She gets to push the buttons and decide our tour, if you will. Always we begin with the cross camera, a spectacular view there from our 4K camera overlooking the Wenatchee Valley. We continue to dry out. In fact, the fire danger, the Forest Service on Friday elevated the fire danger from moderate to high. We'll talk about that when we get to the news. So really concerned about what could happen on Wednesday and Thursday. That's when the winds are going to be at their strongest. Any little fire, any little spark could really take off and get going. We're going to keep our fingers crossed on that. The Columbia River continues to run high and continues to run cold. Yeah, we had summer-like temperatures over the weekend, but it's still officially spring for 5 more days. Camera 2, where are we off to, Megan? Let's pay a visit to Rock Island, a place that I had a chance to visit early yesterday morning. Got in a quick 9 holes before I went home and watched the U.S. Open. It looks like it's a little breezy in the Rock Island area. We mentioned this before. A lot of these cameras are exposed to the elements. They have to be up high on towers, and even though the towers are strong and they have guy wires, it doesn't take a lot of wind to blow those cameras around. So no, we don't have an earthquake. It's just a little breezy at that exposed ridge that overlooks the beautiful hamlet of Rock Island. Camera number 3. It's off to, is that Union Valley, Megan? It is Union Valley, but that's up lake a little bit, and you can see it's a little breezy up there. You can see the grass and the bushes waving in the wind there. That's up lake quite a bit. Lake Chelan, of course, is dominating your view there, but the hamlet, the town of Lake Chelan, is off to your left. You can't quite see it, nor can you see the butte, but you can see, I believe you can see the state park. That's in view. Good morning, Chelan. Thanks for starting your day with us. And finally, camera 4. It's off to Blag Mountain. What are we looking at? Blag Mountain, I got that one. I went 4 for 4. A good start for the week, Dan. Leavenworth is down there. The trees are blowing around Blag Mountain as well. Blag Mountain is right above the Peshastin area. Still a little bit of snow on the very peaks of the foothills of the Cascades, but it's all but gone now as we approach summer. Good morning, Leavenworth. We are, by the way, the number 2 rated local live TV show in the greater Leavenworth area. Something we're very proud of. Good looking morning, good views from our high definition cameras all over north central Washington, all of them courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. That means, of course, you don't need fiber run to your house or your cabin or whatever the case may be to get high-speed internet. All you have to do is be able to see any of our towers, and there's a lot of them. Give Localtel a call to get all the details. 6 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service, here's the forecast for the week. Another warm one today. That's if we get to 91, that will be exactly what we got to yesterday. Sunday's high was 91 degrees, or normal high on this date would be 78, so it was warm. Last night's overnight low was 65, normally 55. We may have set a record there. We won't know until we get to tomorrow. So what's going on? Another warm day for today and tomorrow, but by Tuesday afternoon, things are going to start changing. What's going to happen? A dry cold front is going to come in. The jet stream, which is usually over central British Columbia, is going to drop down pretty much right over the state of Washington, and that's going to allow some pretty windy conditions, especially by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon. It's going to start out breezy and get downright windy by Tuesday night when this cold front really comes in. Winds on Tuesday sustained, west wind 14 to 20 miles an hour. That's the jet stream. And then a low pressure system is going to sag down from Canada and keep us cool. We're going to go from well above normal to below normal by Wednesday. Lots of sunshine, very windy Wednesday, keeping a close eye on that. We could see gusts up to 30 miles an hour on Wednesday. So look at that, big temperature drop. Beautiful day Thursday, but again, some residual wind, and then we warm up gradually. Friday for the first day of summer, pretty normal. Lots of sunshine, a high of 81. Again, sunny today, lower 90s, and then this jet stream is going to come in, cool us down, and breeze us up a little bit on Tuesday. Significant cool down on Tuesday night, very windy as well. By the time we get to Wednesday, below normal, Thursday below normal, and then we warm back up again. So the biggest days for winds, and we're concerned about fires, would be basically tomorrow night, all the way into early Thursday morning. We could even see a red flag warning issued by the National Weather Service. That would not surprise me at all. Of course, the combination has to be low relative humidity, strong winds, and warm temperatures. We got 2 of those things anyway on Wednesday, so that's your forecast from the National Weather Service for the last few days of spring. It is 8 minutes after the hour. Grab your cup of coffee. Grab your donut, grab whatever it is that you grab and consume for your breakfast and come back and join us. But before we get to that, we want to thank our friends at Confluence Health for sponsoring this program. Confluence Health is dedicated to providing safe, high-quality care for everybody in north central Washington. Confluence Health. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live Channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
Just about 10 minutes after the hour, just a few clouds, a very mild 68 degrees already outside of our studios. Lower 90s today, upper 80s on Tuesday. Significant cool down on Wednesday and Thursday. Here's what's making headlines on this Monday morning. The Forest Service on Friday elevated the fire danger in much of north central Washington from moderate to high. That includes the Wenatchee area, Moses Lake, the Methow Valley. High danger indicates that fires can start easily from most causes. Campfires, by the way, are still allowed in most campgrounds in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, but great caution is urged with dry and possible breezy weather conditions coming up later on this week. Well, the group Friends of Leavenworth voted on Thursday to file a lawsuit to stop the development of the Leavenworth Adventure Park. The suit will seek to overturn a hearing examiner's decision last month that cleared the way for the park. The group estimates it's going to spend about $15,000 to $25,000 on legal fees. Earlier last week, hearing examiner Andy Kottkamp rejected both an appeal of his decision by opponents and an effort by the developer to extend the Adventure Park's hours from the approved 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The city of Leavenworth says it has spent more than $58,000 defending its findings on the environmental impact of the park. Opponents say the proposed park at the corner of Highway 2 and Icicle Road would create traffic, parking, and noise problems. Well, speaking of traffic, if you've driven to North Wenatchee recently, you've noticed, you've seen all that road construction going on at the intersection of Spokane Street and Mission Street. Wenatchee Public Works Director Rob Jammerman explains what they're doing and why they're doing it.
So the city of Wenatchee is completing pedestrian improvements on Spokane Street between Chelan Avenue and Wenatchee Avenue. And the majority of that work, of those pedestrian improvements, are on the north side of Spokane Street. And the reason for that is that we're at that crossing on Mission, we're installing a rapid repeating flashing beacon crossing to help with pedestrians to get across there. Those are very effective to help with pedestrian safety, but they only work best with 1 or 2 lanes of crossing, not 3. And that is why we've reduced or delayed the lanes from 2 to 3 until you get past Spokane. So if you've been by there, they're completing up the curb gutter and sidewalk right now, and then there is a delay on the delivery of the rapid repeating beacon. That'll be later this year. So, but we should be. When I was down there last week, looks like they're close to having that paved and having the curb gutter and sidewalk done. I think here in the next few weeks, but you won't see the rest of the equipment installed for about a month or 2.
2 people have been arrested for setting a series of fires in the Soap Lake area. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said more arrests are expected. Both 21-year-old Alexandria Gray of Ephrata and a 17-year-old man face multiple charges of second-degree arson and second-degree burglary. The Sheriff's Office said the first fire was back on April 10th and the most recent on May 28th. At least 5 unoccupied buildings were burned, but that number could be as high as 7. They included old homes and farm structures in rural areas. The Sheriff's Office is calling the arsons, quote, crimes of opportunity, unquote. Investigators are still searching for suspects in a number of unsolved hay and straw stack fires in the Soap Lake area. A former manager of the Microsoft data center in Quincy has been hired as the new executive director of the Numerica Performing Arts Center. His name is Robert Cox. He's a Wenatchee resident. He has strong background in the arts. He served for a decade as artistic director of the award-winning 12 Miles West Theater Company in New York City. Cox replaces Matt Cadman, who retired in March. And that is your news on this Monday morning. What happened over the weekend? We're going to get together throughout the course of the day, our award-winning news team, and we're going to put together a newscast for you that you can watch tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5, 6, and 10, the evening news with Grant Olson in the anchor chair. Also, Grant will be handling your weather forecasting duties. Eric Granstrom anchors our sports desk, the news at 5, 6, and 10. You can also watch it on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com. Not only can you watch tonight's news right around 5 o'clock on the World Wide Web, but you can also go back and watch previous newscasts. We have them all archived. In fact, we have special presentations archived, sports, all of our programs that we produce here locally is all archived for you to watch whenever you darn will feel like it, by going to ncwlife.com, and our website is one of the tools you can use to get a hold of us. There's the Contact Us icon you can click on and send us a note via our website. You can drop us a line via the email, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page and send us a message, or you can even pick up the telephone and give us a call. Get a hold of us, and if you have any news tips, we'll do our very best to follow up on that. It is 15 minutes after the hour, 68 degrees, lots of sunshine, warm today, warm tomorrow, cool and breezy. Wednesday and Thursday, sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I found a doctor that I just really, really like, and his name is Nick Collins. I just like everything about him. He's very thorough, but he's not intrusive at all, so he goes ahead and checks out things that somebody else might just let it go. Just about everything about him.
Here at the YWCA Thrift Store, our mission is to make positive change in the community by giving women and families the tools they need to regain economic stability through work experience and education. Featuring generously donated new and gently used furniture, housewares, clothing, and much more, the YWCA Thrift Store has something for the whole family. Shop, volunteer, or donate with us today.
Welcome back. 16 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports. The Wenatchee Apple Sox erased an early 7-run deficit, and they beat Walla Walla. In fact, they handed the Sweets their first loss of the season last night. The final 11-10. The game had all the earmarks of another loss when Apple Sox starter Keegan Romig couldn't even get an out in the first inning. He allowed 4 runs, 3 hits, a couple of wild pitches, hit a batter, but hey, it's baseball. That means you always get a chance to hit. And they ended up doing just that, trailing 7-0 in the fourth. Wenatchee began their comeback with a 4-run inning highlighted by Cody Colden's 2-run base hit. After Ryan Atlenberger's RBI triple in the fifth, the Apple Sox struck for 4 more runs in the sixth. That cut the deficit to 10-9. And then in the seventh, Quinn Ayers stepped to the plate with 1 on, nobody out. Full count. Here you go.
12 pitches in this inning so far for Dimmick Wood. Full count with his Sweets only up by 1 and the tying run in scoring position. Sox bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes the payoff pitch to Quinn Ayers from Dimmick Wood. Swung on, hit the other way, down the right field line. That ball is back. That ball is gone. A 2-run homer for Quinn Ayers. For the first time today, the Apple Sox lead. They come all the way back. His first of the season. Into the jet stream in right, and Wenatchee is wild right now. He uses a starter a lot this past year, but this is his 5th appearance of the season, or 7th now for the Sox, all in relief. The 1-1 to the left-handed hitter. A tapper, first base side. This might do it. Gobbled up, flipped to Shire, and he'll stop on the bag. What a win for the Apple Sox today. Down by as many 7. They rally back to get the win. It's Wenatchee 11, Walla Walla 10.
Well, the Wenatchee Apple Sox certainly had a great Father's Day on Sunday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. They were down as many as 7 runs in the series finale against the Walla Walla Sweets, but rallied back to win 11-10. Quinn Ayers hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Landon Shire tossed 2 scoreless innings, striking out 4, including the side in the 8th inning. The Sox pick up the win and get the series finale against the Walla Walla Sweets. They're off Monday, but take on the Port Angeles Lefties in Port Angeles starting Tuesday night through Thursday, each game at 6:35 p.m. With your Apple Sox report, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you, Joel. We appreciate it. The Apple Sox improved to 4-8 on the season, and in the meantime, as I mentioned at the top of the sports, Walla Walla has had their first loss of the season after starting out 8-0. So to the West Coast League scoreboard on Father's Day. There you see it. Troy Viola went 4 for 6 at the plate with a 3-run home run to lead Bellingham to a 19-2 blowout win over Yakima Valley. The Bells exploded for 8 runs in the 5th and another 7 in the 8th inning. They improved to 8-4 on the season. Tavita Gerber and 2 relievers held Cowlitz to 1 run on 3 hits with 7 strikeouts. Corvallis shut down the Black Bears 6-1. Steve Ramirez hit a walk-off base hit in the bottom of the 9th to score the winning run. Ridgefield knocked off Port Angeles 8-7. Jake Jarvis hit a 2-run double, and Darren Johnson earned a bases-loaded walk in a 3-run 5th inning. Bend shut out Portland 3-0. Nick Hernandez and 3 relievers held the Pickles to 2 hits, and the Elks improved to 5-4. And Tyler Grissom's walk-off RBI double in the bottom of the 11th helped Kelowna edge Victoria 4-3. The win helped the Falcons salvage the final game of their 3-game series. To the standings we go. Yakima Valley went into the weekend with the lead In the West Coast League's North Division, they emerged from the weekend in a three-way tie. For second, Bellingham is now in first place after their weekend sweep of the Pippins. They're at 8-4. Yakima Valley, Port Angeles, and Victoria all tied for second at 6-5. Wenatchee in fifth place, 4-8. Kelowna is last at 2-7. Well, Kyle Seager's two-run double and D. Gordon's RBI triple highlighted a four-run eighth inning. The Mariners came back, and they beat Oakland 6-3 on Sunday. Mike Leake earned his sixth win of the season. He went 7 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, 7 strikeouts. Malik Smith went 2 for 5 at the plate, including a 2-run home run. Seattle takes 2 of 3 from the A's over the weekend. The Mariners are back home tonight for the first of 3 games against Kansas City. Good seats are still available. Tommy Malone will get the start for Seattle against the Royals. Danny Duffy, first pitch is at 7:10. To the Les Schwab scoreboard in the American League West yesterday. Jesse Winker had a 2-run home run as he went 4 for 5 at the plate. 5 RBIs. Cincinnati beat Texas 11-3. Brandon Lowe, 2 for 3 with a home run to lead Tampa Bay past the Angels 6-5. Mike Trout, by the way, he had a 2-run home run for LA, his 19th of the season. Freddie Galvis led a 14-hit attack. He went 3 for 5, a 2-run home run, 3 RBIs. Toronto embarrassed Houston 12-0. But Houston's lead in the West remains at 9.5 games over Texas. Oakland is 12 back, 36-36. The Angels 13 back. Seattle 31-44, 18.5 games behind the Stros. Carly Lloyd scored 2 of the U.S.'s 3 goals, 3-0 win over Chile at the FIFA World Cup Sunday in Paris, France. Julie Ernst scored the other goals. The U.S. improves to 2-0 in pool play. Sunday's win helped the U.S. clinch a spot in the round of 16, so the Americans go into Thursday's game with Sweden with a chance to win the group. They're moving on anyway. Gary Woodland held off a charge from 2-time defending champion Brooks Koepka Sunday at Pebble Beach to win his first major. The 35-year-old from Topeka, Kansas, shot a final round 69 on Sunday, including an incredible 3-wood on the 14th hole, and then a chip off on the green to save par on 17, and a dramatic 30-foot birdie putt on 18 for the 3-shot win. And finally, the Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks lost a close one on the road at Idaho Saturday. The final was 38-30. The win improves the Horsemen's record to 10-0. The Skyhawks dropped to 4-6. Wenatchee Valley will play at winless Tri-Cities Saturday night at 7. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday. It's 23 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday of the day today. Eat your vegetables. Eat your vegetables. Even if you can't stand them, we all know they're good for you. The doctor says eat your vegetables. Mom and dad say eat your vegetables. Well, vegetables are good. I mean, if you like vegetables, fine, but there are really good vegetables. I mean, who's kidding who? If you don't really put a lot of vegetables on your plate, now's a good time to start doing that. Of course, vegetables are healthy. They're full of vitamins and fiber and minerals and all the things that make you feel good and live a long life. There's all kinds of health benefits for eating vegetables. It cuts way down on your chance of diabetes, obesity, any types of cancers. Doctors recommend that people eat at least 5 portions or servings of vegetables a day. That's a lot. So how do you celebrate Eat Your Vegetables Day? Eat your vegetables. And this is a good time to do that. As we get deeper and deeper into the growing season, you can go to the farmer's market. I believe the Pybus Farmer's Market Wednesday evening editions start out pretty soon if they haven't done it already. Salads are as good as you're going to get. You can put a lot of vegetables in the salad. That's pretty good. By the way, what is the world's most widely used vegetable? The most widely used vegetable in the world is the onion. You can put it in almost anything. Eat your vegetables today. It's kind of funny that the most widely used vegetable in the world is not the kind of vegetable that you would just eat on its own. Onions. You put onions in other dishes. You don't just eat an onion. At least I don't. Happy Eat Your Vegetables Day today. It is June 17th. Let's do Today in History. Today is the 244th anniversary of the Battle of Bunker Hill. Heavy casualties on both sides, but the British took the brunt of it, although they actually won the Battle of Bunker Hill. Yeah, the colonists lost to the British, but the British really took a hammering in winning. They ended up, of course, holding on to Boston Harbor. The colonists had to retreat and regroup, but they really gave the British a big beating. And for the British, they learned a big lesson at the Battle of Bunker Hill. They may have won, but they realized that the colonists are going to fight. They're going to fight. And of course, the British Army was the most well-equipped, best army in the world, but the colonists gave them all they wanted on the Battle of Bunker Hill, and it proved to the British that, hey, we're in a war. This is the real deal. The Battle of Bunker Hill. America may have lost the battle, but they would win the war. It happened on this date 244 years ago. June 17th, 1885, 134 years ago, the Statue of Liberty, there's her face. She arrived in New York Harbor in pieces. Of course, she was built in France as a gift to the United States. They built the statue, then they took it apart, put it in crates, put it on a ship. The ship came over, landed in New York Harbor on this date 134 years ago, and it kind of just stayed in the crates until the pedestal was built. That was the deal. Friends said, we're going to build you this beautiful Statue of Liberty as a gesture of friendship to the Americans. We're going to build the statue. You got to build the pedestal that the statue is going to rest on. And, well, it took another year for the pedestal to be built because we didn't do our job. They were supposed to raise a bunch of money, and nobody really raised any. And then they realized, we got to build a pedestal. In fact, the city of Boston and the city of Philadelphia said, we will pay and build the pedestal ourselves if you agree to move the Statue of Liberty from New York Harbor to either Boston Harbor or Philadelphia. But finally, the New Yorkers got their act together. The pedestal was built, but the Statue of Liberty made it over the ocean and landed on this date 134 years ago. June 17th, 1963, 56 years ago, there it is. The United States Supreme Court, in the case of Albington School District versus Shemp, ruled that school-sponsored prayers and Bible readings in classrooms was unconstitutional. The United States Congress reacted. They drafted more than 150 resolutions overturning the ruling. Of course, it takes a constitutional amendment to overturn a ruling by the United States Supreme Court. A lot of people didn't like it. They said we need a constitutional amendment to bring prayer and Bible readings back to the public schools. It's never happened. It's pretty much now standard law. It happened on this date 56 years ago today. And June 17th, 1972, there it is. That's from page 30 of the next day's New York Times. But it was 47 years ago today. 5 White House operatives, Virgilio Gonzalez, Bernard Baker, James McCord, Unico Martinez, and Frank Sturgis were arrested in the wee small hours of the morning. They were trying to bug and burglar the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. They were trying to illegally wiretap various phones. Nobody paid much attention to it. It was kind of a strange story. What is this all about? It, of course, began the long saga of Watergate, and 2 years later, Richard Nixon was out of a job. The Watergate break-in 47 years ago today. 28 minutes after the hour, just one birthday, but it's a big one. Ruth Graves Wakefield. There she is. Born in this state in 1903. Died in 1977 at the age of 73, her claim to fame. She created the chocolate chip cookie. She was from Toll House, Massachusetts. She thought cookies were boring. She thought, I'm going to throw some chocolate chips into a regular cookie and see what happens. Well, not a lot did until World War II, when all the soldiers from Massachusetts would be getting these care packages with, well, Ruth's Toll House cookies, chocolate chip cookies inside. And all of their comrades who weren't from Massachusetts, who never even heard of the Toll House chocolate chip cookies, said, these are really good. Can you send us more? And the business just took off. And before you know it, in a very short period of time, there was a nationwide craze for Toll House chocolate chip cookies. So Ruth got together with Andrew Nestle of the Nestle Corporation, and they made themselves a little deal. She said, I will give you my exclusive recipe for chocolate chip cookies, Mr. Nestle, if you gave me a lifetime supply of the chocolate so I can keep making them. So she probably could have done a better business deal. But anyway, the lady who invented the chocolate chip cookie was born in this state in 1903, and we are forever grateful for her invention. It is the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a brand new Everyone is Entitled to Mike McNally's Opinion, one you've never seen before. We'll take a break after that, and then my conversation with Rob Neyer, the commissioner of the West Coast League. Got a chance to visit with Rob at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium last week. I was thrilled to interview this guy. He's one of my favorite baseball writers. My interview with Rob Neyer coming up in the back half of the hour. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
It's always been a dream of mine to own a home. She had credit, I didn't.
And I was like, you know what, let's just go talk and see what we could do to move forward.
We walked into Guild Mortgage. I didn't think home ownership was possible. Tracy had a plan for us. Small things that we could do to establish credit. Honestly, before you knew it, the next step was go home, build your dreams, live happily ever after.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blinds store.
Corey here from Rose Tractor, your local Cub Cadet dealer. We've got the all-new Cub Cadet Ultima zero-turn mowers in stock, and they are awesome. The Ultima is like no other zero-turn you've seen. With a box tube frame and available Kawasaki engine, it has unmatched strength and performance, cutting up to 50% faster than lawn tractors. You have to see the Cub Cadet Ultima to believe it. Come on down and experience the Cub Cadet Ultima today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, as a mental health professional, I sometimes deal with clients and the stress and angst that's caused by their finances. Now, some folks are working themselves to the bone to not really build their business, but to make their business bigger and more financially successful. Now, I always ask these people, what are you really working for? Now, being a financial success is fine. Money is a great thing. But if it becomes only a goal in itself and not the tool it's supposed to be, all some people are working for is gain, not for a life of fulfillment. You know, sometimes Rosie and I just go out for an expensive dinner or take a weekend out of town without worrying about what we're spending. And we look at each other and say this in a meaningful way, together, this is what we're working for. And that's the truth. And this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Break out the shorts and sunglasses. Summer is here. So, moms and dads, what have you planned for the kids this summer? Registration is now open to sign up online using our new RAC app or by calling the club. Our team of professionals have multi-sport camps, swim and tennis lessons, swim team, and much more packed into our summer schedule. I'm Emma, RAC membership coordinator, and we've got you covered with our full lineup of family fun. Special summer memberships are on sale now. More details at wrac.org or call 662-3544. The RAC, where we play every day.
My guest is Rob Neyer, who is the commissioner of the West Coast League, and for a baseball nerd like me, this is an honor because I've read almost every book that Rob has either written or co-written with other authors. Would you safely call yourself, Rob, a baseball nerd like I am?
I think, yes, nerd is much kinder than geek. So yes, I'll take nerd any day.
Talk a little bit about your latest book. It just came out in October of last year. I haven't had a chance to read it, and I apologize for that. But it looks fascinating. It looks like it's a real deep dive into a day in the life of the ballpark, essentially, from a statistical point of view.
And for everything else too, not just the numbers. That's certainly a part of it because that's such a big part of baseball now. The idea was to essentially do what other authors have done over the last 4 or 5 or 6 decades, and that is use a single game as a snapshot, as a way into the entirety of the modern game. So for me, it was, here are 25 things that I am interested in, that are in the modern game that interest me personally. Now, how do I get to those things? And it turns out that just watching a game over the course of 9 innings, I had an entry into almost every single one of those things. Probably 1 or 2 things I couldn't quite squeeze in there, but for the most part, I got everything in.
But yet you use the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum as the cover shot. Please help me with that one.
Well, that's where the game was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I picked my editor and I picked a single game. It was an A's-Astros game, and that's just where it happened to be. It's funny because I love the cover. I think it looks pretty, but it is not one of our finer ballparks, no question. And I touch on that in the book because, of course, they've been on a quest to get a new ballpark for quite a while, and with no real end in sight.
Do you sometimes get concerned, and I know I do as a baseball purist, that in our new stats-driven baseball world that we live in, that the more esoteric part of the game is going to get lost to the average fan because everything is now numbers, and technology.
Well, Dan, I think that happens, of course, but I also think that for every fan, this is a wild guess, obviously, but for every fan that you lose because things are getting too complex, you gain some fans who enjoy that part of it. For example, I'm absolutely sure that Bill James, who I consider my mentor for years and now a friend, Bill created baseball fans, or at least in my case, he turned me into a different sort of baseball fan and a more passionate one. Not because I loved numbers, but because Bill gave me, and many others since then have given fans, a different way to enjoy the game. So I grew up loving baseball, and I love the history from when I was a little boy. I still love those things. And I love the analytical part because it's just one more thing that I can sort of latch onto as a fan. So, and I think that a lot of fans, and maybe especially younger fans, they love this launch angle and exit velocity and a spin rate. You can sort of dive in as deeply as you want to dive in, but you don't have to. I listen to games on the radio for the most part and not watch on television, and the radio broadcasts for the most part are almost exactly the same broadcast as they were when I was a boy 40 years ago.
And one of the things that we have with today's stats, and this is touched on in any number of Rob's books, is we can latch on and compare eras, specifically wins above replacement, which is one of my favorite statistics, the WAR stat, and also offensive winning percentage, which is something I've latched on to really understand how some of the great ball players compare to some of the ball players of today.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's what one of the things that Bill James brought us, and others before and since, Bill maybe most notably, was if you normalize for all these different factors, right? How big the ballpark was, and how tough the competition was, and a dozen other things, you can do some apples to apples comparisons. Now, anyone who cares understands that there are limits, right? Yes. We know that Babe Ruth didn't face any black pitchers in the major leagues. And we know that now I think we understand that pitchers in the 1930s, their best fastballs, aside from maybe Bob Feller and Lefty Grove, were probably 87 miles an hour. And now the average is 93. So you have to take all those things into consideration. If you're doing good analysis, you acknowledge the differences while also recognizing that it's still essentially the same game. So you can maybe not say how good Babe Ruth would be today, but you can say how well he dominated his game compared to, say, Barry Bonds or Mike Trout.
And also, in a number of Rob's books, he dispels the myth of the batting average, which is something I've really latched onto. Batting averages are highly overrated. Explain.
Well, it's just in terms of the numbers that we have to look at, it doesn't do a very good job of explaining how runs are scored, which essentially is the goal of every hitter, right? It's to produce runs. There are lots of ways to produce a run. You can hit a home run, you can steal first or second and then third and then a home. That comes pretty close to producing a run all by yourself, right? Batting average gets you some of the way there. Your on-base percentage gets you more of the way there. Your power gets you more of the way there. You'd always rather have a 250 home run hitter than a 300 singles hitter, all other things being equal, right? So in the old days, we would typically overrate players with high batting averages who didn't do other things well. We don't really do that anymore. You don't hear people talk about the batting champion very often. Now, most batting champions are pretty productive, right? Give me a guy who hits 360 every day, but the guy who hits 285 with no power, maybe not.
If you could redo Triple Crown statistics, batting average, RBIs, and home runs, what would Rob Neyer's personal Triple Crown be in the offensive world of baseball?
Well, I think anytime you find a player who leads the league in batting average and on base and slugging, you've got a fantastic hitter. Those guys are about as rare as the Triple Crown winners. That said, those three numbers are all connected to each other. So you're sort of measuring some of the same things. So I actually still sort of enjoy the traditional Triple Crown because it does measure different things. And it gives fans a frame of reference. So I have no problem with celebrating a Triple Crown winner. Miguel Cabrera, for example. Sure. Does that mean he's automatically the best hitter in baseball? No, it doesn't. Mike Trout probably was that year. But I would never suggest we should somehow forget about the Triple Crown or the cycle. There's another fun one, right? Sure, yeah. There are some things that you should keep just because they're a lot of fun.
One more question. I'm going to talk about West Coast League Baseball. My all-time starting nine, most people agree with it. I like it. I got Johnny Bench as my catcher, Lou Gehrig my first baseman, and all that stuff. But my starting left fielder is Ricky Henderson. Do you agree with that?
That's a tough one because who are you leaving out with Ricky Henderson? You're leaving Barry Bonds out, right?
I'm leaving Barry Bonds out. I'm leaving Ted Williams out in many respects. But he's my starting left fielder. I got Willie Mays in center field and Babe Ruth in right. But my starting left fielder and my leadoff batter is Ricky Henderson.
Well, right. I mean, if you're looking for different positions in the batting order, you can't really go wrong. Although I think Barry Bonds was two different players, right? The first 6 or 8 years of his career, he was an outstanding left fielder, got on base a million, of course, and also could steal a base. The second half of his career, he didn't get on base. I mean, he got on base a million, still, more really, because of all the walks. Didn't steal, couldn't play left field nearly as well. So that's the tricky one. But I mean, I think when I've done my outfield, I had tried to put Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle in there, and Babe Ruth as well. Yeah. So the outfield is really tough. I'm not going to quibble with you though, because the quality of baseball in the 1980s when Ricky Henderson thrived was in some ways my favorite style of baseball ever, because there was room for so many different kinds of players, which sadly I think we've lost.
I agree. The West Coast League, you're the commissioner. How did you get this gig, and how's it suiting out for you so far?
Dan, you'll have to ask smarter people than I how I got the gig. It's not something when you are 51 years old, which I was when I got the job, that you ever think is going to happen. I was a long time, and at that point, struggling baseball writer. And all of a sudden, I'm doing this strange thing that very few people ever get to do, let alone an ex-baseball writer. Or I guess I'm still a baseball writer. But it was a very happy set of coincidences. I happened to give a talk about baseball history. One of someone associated with the league happened to be in the audience, and for whatever reason thought that I might be the right guy for the job. And at that exact moment, they were desperately searching for a commissioner. So I feel very blessed to get to do what I do. I mean, it is in many ways a baseball fan's dream job. I get to travel all around the Pacific Northwest, my favorite place in the entire world, and watch baseball games, and they pay me to do this. And I mean, I could tell you stories about all the things I got to do in my first season last year that were, all of which were things I never thought I'd get to do and were dreams. And so I'm very lucky to do this.
Your impressions of the league and your impressions of our little hamlet of Wenatchee, Washington.
Well, I've spent time in Wenatchee prior to having the job, and I am a big fan of this area and the country and the river and the hills surrounding, and just the whole Northwest. I moved to Seattle to take a job with ESPN back in 1996. Took me about a year to get used to the weather, which is obviously way different over there than it is here. But once I got used to that, I realized that the Northwest was where I just sort of was meant to be. And now I live in Portland, which I love, but I also spent a lot of time in Central Oregon at Smith Rock climbing, and here going to baseball games. And so I just, Oregon and Washington in particular, and British Columbia as well, I just really can't get enough. So it's a real treat for me to get to be here. I'll be in Yakima tomorrow, and it's just getting to be the commissioner is one thing, and get to do it in the Northwest. I mean, if I was in the Coastal Plain League in South Carolina, I mean, I'm sure I'd love it. It's baseball, but this is really where I belong.
Well, last question. We'll cut you loose, Rob. I know you're busy as we're getting ready for the big ball game tonight between the Port Angeles Lefties and the Wenatchee Apple Sox. If baseball expands to 32 teams, I'm thinking Portland and Montreal. What do you think?
As a fan, that's where I would want to go. And I've been to Montreal. I was there before they left to see an Expos game, indoors, obviously. But the city, I mean, everything people say about Montreal is true. It's a wonderful international world-class city. And, of course, I love Portland. I hope they can solve the ballpark issues that they have in both cities without raiding the public coffers too much, because that's something I think about quite a bit too. But just in terms of weather and what a wonderful cities they are without baseball, I would appreciate getting to enjoy Major League Baseball in those two places as well. So sure, I can't help pulling for it as a fan.
Rob Neyer, the commissioner of the West Coast League. Rob, I finally get to meet you, and I appreciate it.
Dan, it's my pleasure.
And just as a little trivia, the very first Major League Baseball game I ever went to, Montreal Expos, at Jarry Park in Montreal.
I am incredibly jealous. You don't look old enough.
I am, Rob. I am. You're watching the NCAA Live channel. We'll be right back.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I-dos to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers, or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCW Life, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
I'm looking out into the water, and what I saw was a small hood, looked like a cone, and it in fact was her hood. Floating on the water, going through my mind was, I hope she's in that jacket.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. You just saw a promo for our upcoming special. It's going to be airing this Thursday night, commercial-free, called Saving Rihanna. You're all familiar with the story of Rihanna Rosenberg, who fell into that icy Rock Island pond back on February 21st. Made it out, survived, is thriving, and we captured some remarkable footage of the entire rescue on one of our high-definition PTZ cameras, and because of that, we have put together, when I say we, I mean I wasn't big-time involved in this, but our production crew has put together an incredible show that you don't want to miss on Thursday night. In fact, Caitlin Heddersheet, who is spearheading this project alongside our news director, Cal Fitzsimmons, will be my guests on this show tomorrow to talk about the Saving Rihanna special. You don't want to miss that. Again, that's on Thursday night. We have a couple of minutes. I wanted to repeat the top stories of this Monday morning. The Forest Service on Friday elevated the fire danger in most of north central Washington from moderate to high, and that does include the Wenatchee, Moses Lake, and Methow Valley areas. High danger indicates fires can start easily from most causes. Now, campfires are still allowed in most campgrounds in the Okanagan and Wenatchee National Forest, but of course officials are urging big-time caution because we are expecting dry and breezy conditions later on this week. That all-important weather forecast. Things are going to change. It'll be coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Also making news this morning, the group Friends of Leavenworth voted late last week that they are going to file a lawsuit to stop the development of the Leavenworth Adventure Park. The suit will seek to overturn the hearing examiner's decision last month that cleared the way for the park. The group estimates they're going to spend about $15,000 to $25,000 in this legal fight. Earlier last week, hearing examiner Andy Kotkamp rejected both an appeal of his decision by the opponents and an effort by the developer to extend the adventure park's hours from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That is not going to happen. The city of Leavenworth says it has spent more than $58,000 defending its findings on the environmental impact of the park. Opponents, of course, say the proposed park at the corner of Highway 2 and Icicle Road would create traffic, parking, and noise problems. There's a live shot of our PTZ camera from the Wenatchee Heights area. We're going to take a break. When we come back, that all-important weather forecast. Things are going to change. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Monday edition on the NCW Live channel.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Little 4-point.
It's a nice coconut.
solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod, Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV Advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020. Back at it here from Studio 5 in downtown Wenatchee. Going to wrap up this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with another look at the weather forecast. And we're keeping a very close eye on conditions a little bit later on in the week. Today, just like yesterday, we hit 91 on Father's Day. We're expecting 91 today. In fact, it could even be a little warmer than that because we're already at 68 degrees outside of our studio. So we're just going to, wash, rinse, and repeat what we did over the weekend for this Monday with a nice light breeze, a northwest wind about 6 to 14 miles an hour. Tonight, it's going to clear out. It's going to stay clear, 65 with the overnight low, but the wind's going to be picking up a little bit in intensity tonight. What's going on is that jet stream, which is normally over central British Columbia, is going to drop down over our area, and that's going to make things breezy, but not necessarily a great deal cooler on Tuesday. But then on Tuesday night, that's when things get real interesting because what's going to happen is a low pressure system is going to sag down from Canada, and it's going to cool us down and make us quite windy. In fact, we're quite concerned about fire danger. It's going to start out a little breezy on Tuesday morning, but by Tuesday afternoon, it's going to be downright windy, up to about 20 miles an hour. These are west winds I'm referring to. Tuesday night, 59 for the overnight low, mostly clear, but the winds will be quite brisk at times Tuesday night. Again, as a combination of the jet stream that will be out of alignment and low pressure is going to cool things way down. Look at that, 77. That's actually below normal. Breezy Tuesday night, you better believe it. A west wind about 17 to 22 miles an hour, but we could see gusts above 30 at times Tuesday night, and it's going to be windy all day right into Wednesday. Ooh, that's weird. There we go. All into Wednesday with lots of sunshine Wednesday, but again, a high of only 77. Gusts up near 30 miles an hour is anticipated on Wednesday. Wednesday night, we clear out, 56 for the overnight low. Another below normal day on Thursday, the last day of spring, with a high of 75 degrees. And then we warm up a little bit. Friday, of course, is the first day of summer. Quite a bit of sunshine and a high of 81. 84 on Saturday, 81 on Sunday. The big weather story is going to be Tuesday night through Wednesday when the winds will be at their strongest. And you combine, there's your elevated fire risk for Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's what we're looking at. If it's going to be dry and breezy and low relative humidity, the potential for any kind of fires to really get going is very high indeed. I would not be surprised at all if the National Weather Service issued a red flag warning before the end of this day. Keep your fingers crossed. Everybody have yourself a great Monday. Hope to see you tomorrow, dark and early at 7 a.m. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.